Ignorance enslaves, but knowledge liberates. And this has been the motto of my alma mater, which is the William Knibb Memorial High School, which is still the best high school in Jamaica. I remember when I went to Japan last year, and they were asking us where we come from. And I said, we come from Bolto country, man. We come from Bolto country. That is Usain Bolt, because it's Usain Bolt. Let a lot of people know about Jamaica. And Usain Bolt went to the William Knibb Memorial High School. Anyway, so the motto was ignorance enslaves and knowledge liberates. And we realize that is still happening today. When we are ignorant about certain things, it basically enslaves us. But when you know better, when you garner knowledge, then you are liberated. And even me, when I was growing up, and based on what you would hear like from some Christians and stuff, it was more of a culture thing. You understand? It was not known deep theology, or it was not scripture based. A lot of things were culture. But when I started to dive into the Bible for myself, and I came across some things, but me I say, but wait, hold on, I'm not really so this way, or I'm not really so. And I'm looking in terms of, when you think about righteousness, so some people may criticize others and say that they are self-righteous, for example, or say other things about them. But the Bible did say that we take on the righteousness of God. So it's not a matter of we being self-righteous. It is that we are on a journey. We are taking on the breastplate of righteousness, which is God. Because if it is that we try to be righteous on our own, it's gonna be burdensome and it will kill us. And that is why Jesus Christ even came, because when all of the laws and commandments were in the Old Testament, he realized that people were not able to obey all of them. It was so hard. It would be like you're putting something around somebody and you cannot kill them. It was almost humanly impossible to do works to save yourself. And that is why you have Jesus coming in the New Testament to fulfill all of those that you were required to do. And Jesus is saying it's grace and mercy alone can save you. You understand? Take grace, which is taking on the righteousness of Jesus, and that alone will save you. And you will also realize that if we and you mess up at times, because we're not perfect, you understand? So each day you choose to take on the righteousness of Christ, but because we have the human nature, we still mess up every now and then, you understand? But it is good that we have the advocate, which is Jesus Christ, so we can always go through him to go back to God. So that is what I'm grateful for. So before I kind of knew the word for myself, I believe you have to do everything yourself, otherwise, and if you step out of line, you have to walk on the straight and narrow path all the time perfectly. Because if you step out one time, if you happen to go tell a little lie, if you happen to go back to some of your old ways, if you happen to do things that were the old, you understand, you would be in trouble. But that is not the case. It is Jesus Christ alone can save us, and that is why he died. And he's saying, why look like gonna make me dead in vain? Because people is still trying to do everything to be a Christian, and God is saying, listen, don't take up so much burden upon your head. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Is grace. Grace is all you need. You cannot work to save yourself. And then I'm reminded, I'm just looking in terms of reflecting on my life too. There are a lot of times we take up things for ourselves because we are do this because God will be impressed, or God will give you a sticky. You understand? Your past. Like when God called Candice Edwards, did you sin? Did you tell lie? Did you murder? And him a tick them off gone. But it is not like that. When you appear in front of the judgment seat of Christ, all he wants to know is, did you accept Jesus Christ? Did you believe and accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? Yes or no? That is all. That is all. So sometimes you probably slip up and so on, but that does not take away the fact that you are still a believing Christian. It just shows that we are not perfect. We are human beings. We are not perfect. You understand? And then we go through different seasons to learn stuff and to increase our faith. So I was reading a book the other day, and it reminded me that don't try to hurry through a season. And there are times I'm looking at my life, I just want to hurry up and get them children here, raise them so them can manage on them own. But it's a learning process. I'm learning a lot of things through this process. So we are reminded to not to want to rush out of any season of our life, but to learn from whatever is the lesson in that season, and therefore that should improve the type of person we are, that should increase our faith, that should give us some tenacity, or give us something that when we go into another season, you will remember that, you know, say, I kind of had some experience in this one and I can learn from this. Let me apply it to this new season that I'm going through now. Understand? That is the whole intention. So I just reminding us that remember that it is the righteousness of God that you are to take on, and don't try to be righteous yourself, because it is impossible and you're gonna wear yourself out. So just be reminded of that. Take on everything that God, take on his holiness. So the next time somebody asks if you're righteous, of course you are righteous, because you have the righteousness of Christ. You're righteous and you're holy. So just remember that.